Welcome to Mint. I'm Ruchira Singh. In today's episode of From the Newsroom, we are joined by Utpal Bhaskar. Welcome to the show, Utpal. Today we take a look at the coal scandal and the after effects of it, and we take a look at what impact it is having on companies as well as the government. So Utpal, you have been writing today about the banks, and you have found out that some of the banks have exposure to some of the coal block allottees. What exactly has happened in this fair?
Yeah, it's been a very interesting day today. In fact, the government which is concerned about whether the government-owned banks have got exposure to these companies who have got coal block allocated, and these are the same set of coal blocks which have caught the attention of the country today, be it the CAG or the CBI. And the government has asked the banks to collect information and data, which kind of qualifies and quantifies what kind of loans have they given out to these coal block allottees. And so much so that analysts are concerned that it might turn out to be something on the lines of the concerns which were expressed at the time of the cancellation of the 2G licenses. So it's a very interesting, it's still a work in progress, and but the government is concerned and has asked the banks to kind of collect data which can actually put their financial health, and so the government can take a call where exactly do these banks stand on this. And in fact, the other thing which has also been very interesting is that a lot of high-profile personalities in this country have been lobbying for those coal blocks. I believe there have been letters written by, apart from by Subodh Kant Sahai and others. Naveen Jindal, who was also a Congress MP, has written a letter. You have written a story today which talks about how Mr. Naveen Jindal lobbied for a block which he never got.
Yes. In 2008, he wrote a letter to the Prime Minister's office, and he asked for some key blocks to be given to his company. Now, that letter just strongly urged the PMO to recommend his case to the Coal Ministry, and the PMO did forward that letter to the Coal Ministry. Now, we got in touch with him today, and his office said that this was a very routine letter. It was written on the company's letterhead, and it was quite okay for an MD of a company to write such letters. Everybody writes letters. They write hundreds of letters to ministers, to chief ministers, to secretaries. So it just seems like that is the way to get work done in this country, that you need to keep shooting off letters and push as much as you can to get your work done.
But incidentally, not everyone who is the managing director of a company also happens to be a Congress MP, right? Exactly,
that is the case. So it just seems like small companies with no political connections could find it extremely hard to do business, let alone get coal block allocations. Right, Utpal, so next question to you is that, how big do you think this scandal might become? I have been talking to people and they said it might get even bigger than the telecom scandals. So in the days ahead, do you foresee something like that?
Because what we have seen, Ruchira, is that after scam, there's something which is continuous and which has been constant, is that there is something big which always happens, and we might think that this might become bigger. Of all we know, there might be something else waiting. We are only talking about captive coal blocks today. There are any kind of allocations which have been done with natural resources in this country. However, it's a very that concern is very valid, because a lot of analysts that you speak to believe that since these are only the initial numbers which have kind of been thrown up now. Now CBI is already investigating it. 5 of the FIRs have been filed. 5 more FIRs are supposedly somewhere around the corner. CBI is going to file cases. So it's kind of wait and watch for us, and but it's also a very interesting time to be a journalist who are covering this beat.
Right. On that note, I think it's interesting times. Like Utpal said, in the days ahead, we need to watch what CBI has in store for us. We need to see what the banks say about their exposure to this sector. We need to see what the hundreds of companies that own these coal blocks have to say about themselves. And we need to see what the government has to say in its defense, because they are the ones who allocated these blocks. On that note, we end today's program. Utpal, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
That's it from me. Keep watching.